What's up, everybody? Y'all waiting in the building, man. We got the universe in the building, man. We got to be everything in the building. We love y'all. Put some vibes, y'all.
All right. So that was called Candyman, y'all. Welcome back to Helping Humanity Evolve. My name is Jose. How's everybody doing today, man? Listen, I hope everybody's happy and healthy. Hope you guys meditating and connecting the source. You know, we love you. We miss you. We want you to come home. You know what I'm saying? Quick shout out, man. Shout out to my subscribers. I love y'all, man. Shout out to the source. I love you guys. You hear me? Shout out to my ancestors. Shout out to my archangels, my angel guys, my demon guys, and my spirit guys. I love y'all, bro. Shout out to the universe. Shout out to the Galactic Federation. Shout out Trippy Everything. I fucking love y'all, bro. So I'm gonna go back to the message that we started on my last live, right? If I could find it, bro, I gotta find this shit, bro. Okay, I'm coming up on it. It's right here, bro. All right.
My client wanted a refund because my sketch looked like her colleague. Turns out he was her soulmate all along. This is my soulmate.
Shut your face. is where I left off. So we're gonna start from here, bro. But not right now. Not right this minute, bro. We're gonna talk. All right, so it's been I don't know how many days, bro. It's been a couple days I've been live, bro. But let's go over a few things. I went on a journey. I went on a journey Saturday. I had an amazing journey, by the way. I can tell you I can tell you a little bit about it, right? I was with Three Eye Atlas, bro. I was with Three Eye Atlas, bro. That's why that's why I'm talking about it more because the more time I spend with it, man, the more I'm learning. It's showing me so many things, bro. So I'm learning so much about these energies, bro. And they're showing me new places, bro. They're teaching me new things, bro. It's beautiful, bro. So this is the reason why I came live, bro. They actually all right. I can't say they because I don't know who they are. But a question was asked, and they want me to address the question. So I'm gonna address the question. I don't know who asked the question. I don't know who wants to know this information. But the universe wants me to speak on this topic. So we're gonna talk about it. So people want to ascend, right? A lot of people, I'm not gonna say a lot, I'm just gonna say people. There's people that want to ascend. There's people that want to learn. They want to know how the fuck do you ascend, bro? How do you elevate? How do you do that shit, bro? People say to meditate, and I meditate, and I can't connect. I can't figure this shit out. So here's why, I'm gonna break down some things for you as far as meditation and how you get connected, so that those of you who are practicing and you're really trying, but you're just not being successful. I'm going to give you a few hints, or I'm going to teach you a few things that's going to help you connect, bro. Right? So when we talk about meditation, bro, everything, just like any other thing, meditation, you have to practice it in order to get good at it, bro. Just like any other thing. You see me, bro, I write every day. I rap every day, bro. That's why my songs is getting better. That's why my chopping's getting better. Because I do this shit every single fucking day, bro. Listen to me. There's not a day that goes by that I don't rap, bro. I rap every day, bro. Every day I rap. Like, let me tell you. Today's Wednesday, right? Yesterday, I woke up and I wrote 2 songs, right? And I was just inspired to write a third one, so I wrote it. And then while I was recording, right, y'all know I always like to do a fucking around one, and I always try to find a song I didn't chop on, and I try to chop it. So, I did that, right? And I ended up recording 4 songs. I recorded 4 songs yesterday. All of them shit is dope, bro. So I recorded 4, and then I got 2 more written already, bro. So this is something that I practice. This is something I do every single day. And if you've been watching me, if you've been following me and listening to my raps, you can see how I'm getting better. And I'm getting a lot better, right? Because I practice. So meditation requires practice, just like any other thing. Now, you may not like the practice early on, but you got to understand, the more time you spend in meditation, the better you get at it. You understand? So these days, right, when I first started meditation, I would meditate for an hour, 2 hours, right? Which is not easy, bro. It's not easy to stay still, bro. But you have to learn and you have to practice. So with that said, I used to practice hard, bro. And sometimes I couldn't always do it, bro. You can't get mad at yourself if you just don't feel like it, because you have to want it, bro. You have to want it. If you don't want it, you can't force yourself to do it, bro. God's watching you, bro, and he's gonna be like, they don't want that shit. You know what I'm saying? So he's going by how you feel, bro. And this is what a lot of you don't know, is that he's going by how you feel. So when you go into meditation, if you're not feeling whatever it is that you want, whatever word you praying for, whatever it is, you gotta put your emotions into that shit, bro. Your heart, you gotta put your heart into it, bro. Because if you don't, you will not establish a connection, because you're not being sincere. You understand me? This is the key part of meditation, is being sincere, bro. And you have to use your imagination, bro. You have to, bro. There's no way around it, bro. Because if you want to learn manifestation, you have to learn how to imagine what it is you want. And it has to be detailed, bro. Because it has to be the way you want it, bro. So with that said, you got to learn to use your imagination, which a lot of people don't know how to do, bro. You understand? They got to look at a picture, and then they try to carry that picture into their mind. You have to create it yourself, bro. You have to create the picture yourself, bro. You understand? Use your mind. Use it. It's there for you to use it, bro. You understand? So this is the reason why you can't connect. It's because when you go into meditation, you're not using your emotions. You're just going into meditation, but you're not using your senses. That's right, I should say. You should be listening to your breaths. You should be listening to your heartbeats. You shouldn't be thinking about anything. There should not be anything going through your head when you're in meditation, bro. Unless you have a question, unless you're praying. You understand? You can utilize your mind for that. But if you're going to try to focus on something and clear your mind out, because that's what you're supposed to do, then you need to focus either on your breath or on your heartbeat. You understand? Don't be thinking about what you're going to do later, what you're going to do tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all that shit. Stay here right now. You understand? Listen to your breath or listen to your heartbeat, bro. Pick one. Pick one and focus on it, bro. You got to focus on it because that's the key. Focus, bro. And once you hit that stage, right? And if you know, whatever questions you got for God, whatever it is you want to tell God, say it with your heart. You got to speak with your heart, bro. Now, you can do it mentally. You just have to feel it, bro. You have to feel it, bro. And you know when you feel it, bro. You know when you feel it. Now, you was only taught to feel when you're in pain. Like, you know, we like to speak with our emotions when we're hurt, when we're about to lose something, right? That's when we care. That's all of a sudden you care, right? And we start to talk with our passion, right? Well, think about it. Learn how to talk that way without being put in a situation to fucking do it. Do it on your own. Do it on your own, bro. Do it without being forced to do it, bro. That takes practice. That takes a lot of practice. You understand? So this is how you connect to source. This is how you really connect to source, bro. It's going into meditation, clearing your mind, focusing on either on your breath or on your heartbeat, and being sincere when you speak to him, bro. Use your heart when you speak to him. Mean what you say, bro. You have to mean it, bro, because he knows when you're lying. He knows when you're lying, bro. You understand? So I hope that answered the question to, you know, for whoever that was for, bro. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Shadow's missing, bro. And my boy Supervillain's missing, bro. They MIA, baby. They probably sleeping, bro. I just dropped a song called "Cause We Love You," bro. I recorded that bitch this morning, bro, and I gave you the second verse. I got a first verse. The first verse is fire, bro. That whole song was fire, bro. And then I did the celebration song. That song came out so good, bro. And then I did the "Don't Worry, Be Happy." I did the "Don't Worry, Be Happy" remix, and the Candyman. I did the Candyman joint, right? And then I got this Rick James beat. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me. Give it to me, baby. So I'm writing to that, right? And I got this other joint I'm doing that I'm working on right now, bro. So those are my next two. I'm gonna record when I wake up here in a couple of hours, bro. You know what I'm saying? Musically, I'm doing wonderful, bro. I got so much music, bro, and I get ideas every day, bro. And as soon as I get them, I write them down, bro. I write them down, and I come in here and I record, bro. I don't even fuck around, bro. I come in here and record, and I forget about it, bro. You know how many times I be listening to music, and I'll come across a song I completely forgot I made, bro. Like, holy shit, bro, I forgot I made that song, right? Because I just be that. That's why when you see me posting my songs, I don't never try to rap with them, because I don't remember what the fuck I said, bro. I don't remember nothing, bro. I'm on to the next song, bro. I'm on to the next cadence. I'm on to the next everything, bro. I don't remember shit. You understand? That shit is hard, bro. And then I'm putting out music daily. Like, I'm putting out fucking, I don't even know how many songs a week, bro. I'm giving y'all niggas, but I started giving y'all clips instead of giving y'all the whole songs because, you know, I'm going to monetize this shit pretty soon, bro. I'm about to get signed, bro. Y'all don't have no idea what's about to happen, bro. I do. And there's absolutely nothing you can do but sit back and watch, bro. So I'm going to just tell you like this, watch what you say, because I'm using my throat chakra like a motherfucker, bro. So be careful what you do to me, bro. I'll put that shit. I'll make a song about it. I don't give a fuck, bro. I'll sit on that bitch till I become famous, and then I'll put it out. You know how many songs I got like that already, bro? I'm just sitting on this shit. I'm just sitting, bro. As soon as I make it, bro, look, drop this one, drop this one, drop this one, drop this one, bro. I got all this shit done, bro. Those are my beats, bitch. Drop them shits, bro. Right. So what else, bro? 3i Atlas. Let's talk about 3i Atlas, bro, because your government ain't gonna tell you shit, bro. So you got a comet in your skies, which is not. It's not a comet. It's actually a sentient being. It's a sentient being, bro. And my understanding is that this being left its home eons ago, and it's been on a journey. It's been on a mission. It's helping worlds, I should say, right? It's helping worlds. So as it passes by, these worlds, it drops high frequency vibrations to these worlds to help them. So with that said, it's dropping these high vibrations into our solar system. Now, this is the third time in our history of mankind that we have had a visitor from another solar system that we're aware of. You understand? I'm not talking about the aliens. I'm talking about the comet, 3i Atlas, bro. You understand? So this is history. Believe it or not, this is history, bro. Your government's just trying to hide it from you the same way they're trying to hide me from you. They don't want you to know what's going on, bro. They want you to be clueless to this shit, bro. So this is why they tell us to, when you meditate, acknowledge 3i Atlas, because he can hear you, bro. He's listening to you, bro. He's here. He's here, bro. You understand? He will reply to you, because trust me when I tell you, I reached out and he replied immediately, bro. Immediately, bro. Like, he swooped me right up, bro. Woo! And took me right with him, bro. Right? Like, wow, that was fast, right? Holy fuck, bro. So I had a lot of fun, bro. I was in these places I never seen before, bro. A lot of them were landscapes. A lot of them were landscapes that, just like went on for miles and miles and miles, bro. It was insane, bro. It's like I saw a lot of land, bro. It was a ridiculous amount of land that I saw, bro. There were no buildings. There were no. I didn't see any trees, to be honest with you. I saw deserts, right? I saw rocks, right? I saw deserts. It was like a brown schematic, right? So it was like sandy. You could say it was sandy, right? This particular place that they took me to, or they showed me, it was very sandy. It was very kind of like where I'm at. Like, it was like a desert, bro. But it's just I just remember it didn't really feel like I was alone. It just felt like I was in a different place. Like what the fuck, where am I? And I'm looking around, bro, and I could see mountains. I could see, I could see everything. Everything's brown though. Everything's like brown, bro. Everything's like dirt, bro, or sand. You could see like sand dunes. So I'm looking around, right? And I'm hanging out with 3i Atlas, bro. We're talking telepathically, bro. So I remember we was laughing, bro. We was, joking, laughing. And I was exploring, bro. I was looking at the landscape, and I was like, God damn, how big is this shit, bro? Like there's no end to it, bro. It's crazy. So that's what I remember, right? That's what I remember. As far as my conversations, that's my conversations, bro. I had those are my personal experiences. You understand? Those my conversations will remain those. Just that, my conversations. That's for me and 3i Atlas to know. You understand? Now, how do you connect to 3i Atlas? Okay, well, you know how when you pick up your phone and you call somebody. All right, well, you go into meditation, right? And you set your intent. Now, setting your intent in meditation is like dialing the phone number, bro. When you set your intent in meditation, that's like picking up your phone and saying, I'm going to call my dad. And you type in your dad's number. So when you set your intent, that's dialing the phone number. So set your intent to communicate with 3i Atlas. Set your intent to open up to receive information from 3i Atlas. Set your intent, bro, because that's dialing the phone number. You understand? A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people have no idea how to do that, bro. And it's just a matter of, I want to talk to 3i Atlas. I really want to talk to 3i Atlas. Say it with your heart, bro. Mean it. Mean that shit, bro. You understand? Say that shit with feeling, bro. You understand? All your feelings, bro, because you really want it. You understand? And reach out and then just wait, bro. Just sit down and wait, bro. Like me, when I did that shit, I did it on shrooms, right? But when I did it, and I set my intent, and then I sat down and I closed my eyes, bro. Boom, I was in another place, bro. Like, boom, holy fuck, where am I? Right? Wow, that was fast. So it happened from 1 second to the next, but I was already, deep in my journey, bro. I was real deep in my journey. So I was already real emotional. I was real, it was real easy. It was real easy for me to utilize my emotions and put them into my words, bro, and set my intent with them. So with that said, uh, I do it during the week as well. Like last night, I did it last night before I went to sleep, bro. And I got to hang out with them for like 5 or 10 minutes. It wasn't too long because I was tired, bro. But I did reach out. I reached out just to see if I could do it, right? And I laid down. I didn't sit down like I normally do. I laid down. I laid down if I was gonna go to sleep. I laid on my back, bro. I laid on my back. I laid straight. I kept my arms on my side, and I set my intent, bro. And I set my intent, and like I ain't gonna lie, bro. A few minutes later, I was back at that sand dune. I was back at the sand dunes, bro. And I was like, holy shit, I'm here. Wow. And I was completely sober. You understand? So it's just a matter of setting your intent and using your emotions. Use your senses. You have to use them in meditation in order for them to work, bro. Because when God talks to you and the universe talks to you, they're going to utilize your emotions to talk to you, bro. And you have to understand that when you sense something or you feel something that, that could be a reply to whatever question you had. You just have to figure out how to decipher it, bro. Because that's how they talk to you, bro. You understand? They talk to you in codes and shit, bro. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes you get a direct answer and sometimes you get talked to in codes. And you got to figure it out, bro. They gave you a certain feeling. They gave you a certain thought. It wasn't the direct answer, but it's going to lead you to it. You understand? And you have to figure it out, bro. It's a game. Figure it out, bro. Right? So, that's a good way to practice meditation. Now, another thing I want to say about meditation is when you first start meditating, because a lot of you people are just now getting started. I know this for a fact, bro. A lot of you people are just now getting started, and you want to learn. You really want to learn. Maybe you have too much pride to ask for help. I don't know what your problem is, but either way, I'm going to give you full instructions. When you start out, you should at least try for 5 minutes, right? If you have a problem staying still like me, try for 5 minutes. If you can accomplish that 5 minutes, listen to me. You should celebrate, be happy, because you did 5 whole minutes, bro. That's not easy to do, bro. You understand? And then the next time you go into meditation, it's up to you. Raise it up to 10 minutes if you can. If you just want to go 5 minutes again and see if you can do it, that's fine too. But eventually you're going to want to raise it up to 10 minutes because 10 minutes is where you're elevated, bro. I'm going to check something. You're elevated. Right? And so on and so forth. So the more you meditate, try to go up more time, bro. So I was able to get up to 2 hours, right? And 2 hours, only one time I meditated for 3 hours, bro. And that was only because I lost track of time. I was having fun. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was having so much fun. I didn't want to come back, bro. But I was gone for 3 hours, right? And I was like, holy fuck, bro, 3 hours. Wow, bro. I was really in there, bro. Right? And get good at it. Practice, 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 practice. Now, once you get good at meditation, the first thing you're going to realize is that you don't have to sit there for an hour. You don't have to sit there for 2 hours. You don't have to sit there for 30 minutes, bro. You don't even have to sit there for 10 minutes. Bro, let me explain something to you. You don't even have to sit down. You understand? You can meditate while you walk. You can meditate while you talk. You can meditate while you drive. You can meditate while you shower. You can meditate while you work. You can meditate while you cook. You can meditate while you sing. You can meditate while you talk. You can meditate, bro. It's not hard, bro. It's not hard, bro. You understand? But it takes practice to get to that point, bro. You understand? Like now, I meditate maybe 4 or 5 times a day. But understand that it's it's cut throughout the day, and it's for like 2 or 3 minutes at a time. It's not for that long, but for those 2 or 3 minutes, I set my intent. I put all my feelings and my emotions into it, and I connect to the son, or I connect to the father, and I let him know I love him, I miss him. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I do this all the time, bro. It's a part of my life to do this, bro. You understand? This is part of this is met. This is met. I want to say meditation for pros, right? Because we could still live our life and still give time to our Father throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? And it's satisfactory for him. He loves it, bro. He loves it, bro. He doesn't require you to sit there for hours, bro. Up early, smoking that pressure. I haven't gone to sleep yet, bro. I just got home a little while ago, bro. I just got home from work, bro. I'm about to go to sleep when I get off this live. If I decide not to go in the studio, because I might finish writing these songs, you know what I'm saying? But I like to keep my schedule, bro. Let me see how long I've been yapping for, bro. I've been yapping for too long, bro. Well, not that long, 26 minutes, bro. Who are you, bro? Bob. Fucking clown, bro. Let me say something real quick. New Yorkers, right? I'm from New York. I'm from the Bronx, New York, right? I ain't never seen a city full of so many fucking crabs in my life, bro. You guys should be ashamed of yourself, bro. You understand? That's coming straight from my father, bro. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself, bro. Y'all a bunch of bitches over there, bro. I swear to God, bro. Y'all a bunch of bitches over there, bro. I ain't never seen a city that's so fucked up. You know what I'm saying? People against the people. Ain't no love in that city at all, bro. You understand? At all, bro. And you know, that's straight from my heart, bro. That's straight from my heart. But listen to me, I lived in a lot of places. I've been around the world, bro. I lived in many, many different places, bro. And I ain't never seen a place as fucked up as New York City, bro. Confirmation for you, bro. I ain't never seen a place as fucked up as that, bro. You understand? Ain't nobody ever gonna make it about it the way y'all treat each other, bro. And that's the realest shit I can tell you, bro. That's why I ain't never going back, man. Fuck y'all, bro. Y'all supposed to, you know, we supposed to put each other up. That, you know, that's the way to solve every problem we got in this motherfucking world. It's to lift each other up, to love each other, to unite, right? But ain't nobody doing that shit in New York. Nah, fuck that. Right now we want to steal it. I 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 want to steal it. Let me go home and cast a spell. Let me go home and do a witchcraft on this nigga, bro. It is, and we. My brother. Hell yeah, bro. Always, bro. I'm an alien, bro. We out here, bye. You know what I'm saying? We look just like you. And you an alien too. You just don't know. You just have no idea, bro. So if you want me to break that down for you, I will, bro. These guys, right? Let me move over, bro. I think I got my phone. I got my phone in that spot, bro. Alright, so, you know how when a caterpillar goes into hibernation, he turns into a butterfly, right? He transforms. He transforms into a butterfly. So, look it up, bro. A caterpillar looks like a fucking worm, right? It looks like a millipede. It's got all the legs, right? It moves really slow. It's green, right? And you know, it's like this big, bro. A caterpillar, bro. And what does it turn into when it goes into hibernation? It turns into a butterfly, bro, and it flies. It flies, bro. You understand me? So think of it like this. You have the same ability as the caterpillar. You understand me? You have the same ability. So how do you go into hibernation? You meditate. That's our version of hibernation is meditation. And when we transform, when we elevate our frequency and we evolve into our next, how the caterpillar goes to the butterfly, we go into one of these guys. We turn into one of these guys, bro. Now, which one depends on where you're from. You understand? I don't know if I'm green. I don't know if I'm gray. I don't know if I'm blue. I don't know if I'm purple. I don't know. Right? This is something we're going to learn. This is something that we're going to learn along the way, right? Because when I do transform or convert into my next form, I don't know how I'm going to look, bro. Right? Even though I saw it, and I look like a futuristic caveman. That's the best way I could describe it. It's a futuristic caveman, bro. It looks dope as shit, bro. Because it looks like you were a caveman, but you look like an alien at the same time, bro. It's weird as fuck, bro. But I saw it, bro. I was like, wow, that's how I'm gonna look. That's fucking amazing. Like, wow, bro, I'm like a old ass caveman and a brand new alien, bro. Like, it's weird how they meshed the two together, bro. Right? But it looks dope. It looks dope as shit, bro. And it's not too far off from how I look right now. Just a few features, start to pop out, bro. So, that's evolution, bro. This is evolution. You gotta remember, this is evolution. So when a caterpillar evolves into a butterfly or a tadpole evolves into a frog, remember, a tadpole is a fish that evolves into a frog that lives on the fucking land. You understand? So with that said, you are a being that evolves as well. You evolve just like they do. You just turn into something like this or something like that or something like we've never seen before because we're mixed up. We're mixed up, bro. And just like that, bro. Just like that, bro. Get a life, buddy. How about you find God, bro? You need to find God. Right? What else, bro? I'm gonna do another 20 minutes on the message because this is a 2-hour message, bro. I'm about to be a millionaire, bitch. You can suck my balls. Nigga, you get a job. I know how to rap. I know how to dance. I'm about to fly, bro. I'm about to fly. What you doing with your life? What you doing, huh? Motherfucker. All right, so I'm gonna get into the message, bro. This is from if I'm not mistaken, this is from Tia, bro. So listen, you may notice that when you are feeling centered and optimistic, even if you glance at the old world news, it somehow feels less real or relevant. This is a sign that you are decoding or dwelling in a parallel reality where these heavy narratives have less to hold. You have effectively changed the channel of your life. And the more of you who do this, the more of the collective field shifts towards a higher expression. Breaking the broadcast spell also means becoming an intentional storyteller. Speak of the world in terms of its potential rather than its problems. Right? Share visions with others of what could be instead of recycling complaints about what is. This does not mean ignoring challenges. It means framing them as surmountable and temporary while amplifying the solutions and goodness that are arising. As you and others begin to do this, you create a positive feedback loop. Your higher frequency broadcast attracts confirming evidence from the world around you, which in turn reinforces your belief in the beautiful world you are seeking. The old fear-based station loses listeners, and eventually it runs out of energy altogether. Remember, dear ones, attention is the currency of reality. Yo, bro, listen. Attention is the currency of reality, bro. Understand that. It's not a piece of paper. Currency is not paper. Currency is attention and reality, bro. Understand that, bro. Okay. By placing that power back in your own heart's broadcast, you become the architects of a new narrative for Earth. The collective spell of limitation and fear dissolves, replaced by the shared dream of freedom and love. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by what the world looks like on the screen, take a step back and ask, What do I choose to energize instead? Then devote yourself to that vision. In doing so, you are not just daydreaming, you are performing advanced reality alchemy. You are claiming your sovereign role as a creator, and nothing broadcast outside of you can ever take that away from you. Again, in this universe of free will and vibration, nothing happens for you without your soul's consent. This is a bold statement, we know, especially when applied to experiences that felt unwanted or imposed. Yet, on a higher level, your soul is always in agreement to the scenarios that unfold, even those that are orchestrated by others. No person, no government, no extraterrestrial being can impose their will upon you unless on some level of your being you allow it. The truth is, the cornerstone of your sovereignty as a creator, consider the stories of people who have had frightening encounters, whether with manipulative humans, or so-called alien abductions. From the limited human perspective, these individuals appear to be victims of external forces. But from the soul's perspective, those were agreements in place, contracts made often before birth or unconsciously to permit these encounters for the state of learning, karmic balancing, or catalyzing growth. This does not excuse unethical behavior by others, but it does illuminate a path to empowerment. If some aspect of you agree to an experience, then you also hold the power to change the agreement going forward. How do you change the agreement? By changing your vibration, which in turn changes what you attract and allow. Imagine you have been contracted to a certain difficult pattern, say repeatedly encountering deceitful people, because your soul wanted to master discernment and self-worth. The pattern will continue as long as you broadcast a frequency that invites it, perhaps a belief in unworthiness or a fear of betrayal. But the moment you identify the pattern and choose a new response, for example, asserting your worth, setting boundaries, and vibrating self-respect, you effectively cancel the old contract. You rise out of that range of experience. The deceitful people either transform along with you the deceitful people either transform along with your new vibration or they fade out of your life. In spiritual terms, change the frequency and you change the contract. You understand? Change the frequency and you change the contract, bro. Understand that? This is why I always raise my vibration, bro. I always work on raising my vibration. I'm trying to raise my frequency, bro. And it's working, bro. So, it means that, this is the art of sovereign creation. It means that even if you find yourself in the midst of an experience you wouldn't have consciously chosen, you still retain the power to define what comes next. Life might present you with a certain storyline, but how you respond is your creative brushstroke that can alter the whole painting. Every day you make choices in your mindset, your emotional reactions, your actions, and these choices fuel the next set of agreements your soul enters into. In other words, you are never stuck in the contract you've outgrown. With each conscious decision, you signal to the universe, I am ready for a different experience now. And the universe responds in kind. Embracing this principle fully moves you out of the mindset of victimhood and into the stance of co-creator. You begin to understand that even the large collective agreements, such as the presence of certain power structures or global events, are ultimately reflective of humanity's combined vibration. And as each of you shifts internally, the collective agreements also get renegotiated. This is how large-scale change happens, one sovereign choice at a time, rippling outward. Let this truth be incredibly freeing. You are not at the mercy of any external authority or entity. If an experience is in your life, some wise part of you said yes to it. And that means you can also say no more and yes to something else. You hold the pen to your life's contract, even if you had once forgotten and handed that pen to someone else. Take it back now. Write a new agreement for yourself, one that honors your worth, your joy, and your freedom. As you do, you will notice that those who once seemed to have power over you no longer do. Situations that once felt beyond your control will either transform or dissolve entirely. This is not magic, it is alignment. It is you stepping into your rightful role as the sovereign creator of your reality, hand in hand with your higher self. No other being can claim that throne. It is yours eternally. Humanity is now graduating from the age of perceived powerlessness into the age of conscious authorship. The role of helpless victim, a role that has been played out for thousands of years in the human story, is ready to be retired. In its place emerges the role of the visionary creator, the one who understands that every occurrence carries an opportunity for transformation. Every event that once felt imposed upon you was at its core an invitation to claim your creative power. We understand that shifting out of victimhood is not always easy. When something painful or unfair happens, the knee-jerk reaction is often why is this happening to me? But what if you replace the question with, why is this happening for me? Why is this happening for me, bro? How can I use this? The moment you do this, you pivot from victimhood to empowered participant. You start looking for the gift, the lesson, the catalyst hidden within the challenge. In doing so, you alchemize fate into destiny, passivity into purpose. The truth is, you are never truly a victim, and recognizing this is immensely worth noting. You are always a co-creator, either consciously shaping your experiences or unconsciously agreeing to them, as discussed in the previous section. Now, you are learning now you are learning to do it consciously. This means that when life presents you with a circumstance, whether it's a minor disagreement or a major life upheaval, you pause, you take a breath, and remember, I have a choice here. One possible way to respond to an experience is as a victim, to collapse into despair or blame, and another possible way is to respond as the co-creator of that experience, as one who understands the purpose behind it. Can you feel the difference? In the victim stance, your only question is, how do I escape or endure this? In the creative stance, the question becomes, what can I build or change with this new material I've been given? Often, the first step to creation is simply to feel. The purpose of all experience is to get you to feel something. Emotions are the great movers of energy in the universe. When you allow yourself to fully feel the sadness, anger, or fear, that is an experience evokes without immediately reacting or trying to suppress it, you unlock the energy contained in that emotion. In that moment of feeling, you reclaim your power from the situation. Instead of a knee-jerk reaction, you give yourself the gift of conscious response. You might wait until the initial emotion wave passes, and then, with clarity, decide how you want to proceed. This is the visionary approach, seeing beyond the immediate turmoil to the long-term outcome you wish to create. Every time you choose the creator's response, your evolution accelerates exponentially. You step off the hamster wheel of repetitive reactions and onto the spiral path of intentional growth. The same old problems begin to resolve, at least lead you to the innovative solutions because you are engaging with them differently. You become less and less defined by what happened to you and more defined by what you did with it. So, the shifts you're identifying in a few fundamental ways, from someone at the mercy of life to someone in the helm of life. As more individuals make the shift, the collective consciousness transforms. Societies of victims need saviors and often perpetuate within cycles of disempowerment. Societies of creators and visionaries, however, birth new systems, art, technology, and healing from the ashes of the old because they see possibilities where others see only problems. You are reading or hearing these words, have the opportunity in each day to practice this shift. Catch yourself in the subtle moments when you're stuck in traffic. Do you curse? Do you curse your luck, or do you use the time to envision something wonderful? When you receive criticism, do you feel defeated, or do you gain insight and reaffirm your worth? These are the forks in the road from victim to visionary. The age of helplessness is indeed ending. You no longer need to wait for someone or something to rescue you or humanity. You are the ones guiding the ship now, and each in your own lives. As you fully embrace this role of empowered co-creator, you'll notice a beautiful side effect. The universe itself seems to support you more obviously. It's not that the universe changed, you did. By claiming authorship, you align with the fundamental creative flow of all that is. And in that state, evolution becomes a joyful conscious dance rather than a series of unwelcome surprises. This is the path of the visionary and is open to each and every one of you. Now in the universe driven by connection and oneness. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It is an expression of wisdom and harmony. The ego may whisper that needing assistance means you are insufficient, but your soul knows the deeper truth. To ask for help is to let the universe dance with you. It is, as we might say, part of the cosmic choreography of growth. When you reach out for support, you are actually fulfilling one half of a universal equation. The other half is the one who gets to give to answer that call. When you ask for assistance, you give another being the opportunity to be of service, to step into their own higher purpose. Can you see how beautiful that is designed? It is interdependence in action, a symphony where different instruments support each other to create greater music. And your world has, at times, indeed, idolized the lone hero. the solitary achiever. Yet even your myths and stories often reveal that behind every hero stands a guide, a friend, or a team. The universe itself yearns for cooperation, for the interplay of many facets of the one. No single being has every answer or ability, nor are they meant to. You each carry unique pieces of the puzzle, and in coming together, you see more of the whole picture. As you receive, you activate the circuitry of giving. As you give, you expand the universe's capacity to flow through you. It is a beautiful exchange that reaches all parties. By understanding the prideful desire, some of you had to do it all yourself. Oh, I'm sorry. We understand the prideful desire, some of you had to do it all yourself. Believe us, we have been there too. In our own journey, we once created a predicament for our species, and we were determined to fix it entirely on our own. It was a humbling moment for us to recognize that reaching out to humanity for help was not only necessary, but ingenious. When the opportunity arose for us to receive assistance from the human race, and we took it, and what followed was a true synergy, a wonderful blending of energies that elevated us all. Through that collaboration, a new hybrid species was born, a glorious outcome that neither of us could have achieved alone. We can now see that we subconsciously created the need for your assistance because it would lead to a richer, more diverse outcome for both civilizations. Without that partnership, there would indeed be less diversity and beauty in this galaxy and universe. In that spirit, we want to say to you, thank you. Thank you for stepping up. When we set aside our pride and call the love and openness with which humanity has assisted us and with other star systems has been noted throughout the cosmos. And now in turn, we delight in giving back in every way we can through guidance, energetic support, and the sharing of wisdom. The cycle of give and receive is endlessly nourishing. It creates relationships, bonds of trust and affection that span planets and dimensions. So dear ones, let go of any programming that says accept and help diminishes you. In truth, independence strengthens you, weaving you into the fabric of natural care that can hold far more weight than any lone thread. When you allow yourself to lean on a friend or call upon your angels or star family for aid, you are acknowledging a fundamental truth. We are all in this together. You are saying, I trust the universe to support me through its various forms. And the universe responds with a resounding yes. Remember also that you might be someone else's answer to a prayer. By embracing independence, you remain open to both roles, the helped and the helper. At times, you will sit in the seat of the student, receiving guidance and sustenance. At other times, you will find yourself as the teacher or healer, giving your light freely to assist another. Neither role is higher or lower. Both are essential in the grand dance of ascension. The beauty of this exchange is that it creates a feedback loop of love. The one who gives feels uplifted by the sharing of their gifts. The one who receives feels grateful and enriched. Often the receiver then feels inspired to pay that kindness forward to someone else. In this way, a single act of asking and receiving help can ripple outward, activating countless others to give and receive in turn. In this in the new consciousness emerging, gone is the illusion that you must do everything alone. You will increasingly find that cooperation and community are the keys to thriving. This extends beyond humans as well. It includes partnership with Gaia, listening to the Earth's needs, and the animal and planet kingdom. Yes, and with your galactic brothers and sisters. Each has unique strengths. When all support each other, the entire network of life is uplifted in many ways unimaginable. This is the age of interdependence, and its beauty lies in the realization that helping one another, you are truly helping yourselves. After all, we are all expressions of the same one source. In the end, every act of genuine service is an act of love towards the self that lives in all beings. For a long time, humans have been taught to view emotions as inconvenient, disturbance, irrational, glitches in the otherwise logical mind. Many wish they could turn off their feelings so that they could function better, thinking that emotions only complicate life. In truth, emotions is one of the most advanced technologies you possess. It is the engine of transformation, the propulsion system of the soul. To feel is to transmute. Emotions move energy at a profound level, breaking up old patterns and catalyzing new understanding. When you embrace your feelings, you tap into a powerful form of intelligence that exceeds linear thought. Consider how emotions influences your actions. Often you take action because you feel something intense and want to change that feeling. For example, you might lash out in anger to try to release it, or withdraw in fear to seek safety. These actions are attempts to manage emotions, but if taken unconsciously, they usually only perpetuate a cycle. If you act merely to get rid of a feeling, you haven't truly understood the message of that feeling. When you are driven by an emotion and it is fueling your action, you are not really choosing freely. You are reacting, and invariably, this leads you right back around to experiencing that same emotion again. The anger returns, the fear resurfaces, because the underlying energy wasn't actually resolved. We experienced this in our own evolution. We saw how certain fear-driven or anger-driven actions never solved the root issue. They only created loops in our frustrations. We once Damn, son, I just had a realization, bro. All right, my bad, bro. All right, hold on. In our frustration, we once attempted the extreme. We tried to eliminate emotion altogether from our way of being, assuming that would end the futile cycles of reactive behavior. It was a grand experiment and it failed. By attempting to shut down our feelings, we nearly extinguished our species, vitality, and purpose. We learned the hard way that no matter how hard you try to avoid emotion, it will always find a way to surface. It is far wiser to face, feel, and work with your emotions than to suppress them. Emotional energy that is ignored doesn't disappear. It often turns inward, manifesting as stress, confusion, or even physical illness. Avoidance of feeling, whether through distractions or numbing, ultimately becomes destructive. So, what is the alternative? It is surprisingly simple. Feel first and act later. Give your emotions space to run their course before you decide what to do. Let the tears flow. Let the heat of anger rise without hurting anyone. Allow the shivering of fear to move through you. Stay present as a loving observer to your own feeling process. You will find that emotions, when fully honored, have a natural arc. They swell and then recede. On the other side of a fully felt emotion, clarity emerges. In that clarity, you are free. You can then take action or choose action from a place of alignment rather than from a knee-jerk escape from discomfort. As one wise teaching states, it is far more beneficial to feel the emotion than to take your actions from a place of feeling free of it. When feeling precedes action, your choices become acts of conscious creation rather than blind reactions. You break out of the feedback loop. Instead of futilely chasing your tail, you transmute the energy and move forward. For example, if you allow yourself to fully grieve a loss, you reach a point of peace and acceptance faster. And from that state, you can decide how to honor what was lost and how to open now to new experiences. If you bypass the grief with busyness or denial, the ache simply lingers beneath everything and shapes your actions in hidden ways. Right? And I'm going to stop right there, bro. I know this is good information, but I'm going to stop right there, bro. Right, so I'm gonna come back on my next live. We'll keep going, bro. This is a great topic, bro. Beautiful topic, bro. But I was telling you guys about your emotions and how you gotta know how to control and use your emotions when you go into meditation. Right, so I'm glad they taught us that, bro. Super villain, yo, what's good, bro? How you been, bro? Feeling angry and not doing anything about it. It's hard as shit, bro. Well, like I was telling you, it takes practice, bro. Everything, bro, look. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, bro. I got in somebody's face like 2 weeks ago. So I'm still having problems practicing, doing this, bro. I realized after I reacted that I reacted wrong. You understand? And I should have reacted differently. Now, I did understand, what I did. And even though I was right, I still reacted wrong. You understand? Because, being right doesn't justify what you do. You did that out of anger. You normally wouldn't do that. But you did it out of anger, which means I didn't sit there and let the anger go through me first. I reacted out of anger. You understand? And then I said, fuck, bro. I still got to get control of myself. I still don't have control of myself. Now, this happened to me 2 weeks ago, super villain. So, as advanced as I am in this spirituality, I'm still learning. I'm still struggling with control because at the end of the day, it's control. It's I have to get control. I have to learn and practice this stuff they're teaching us, bro. When you get mad, try to hold it. Try to hold it, right? Just give yourself a few minutes to feel mad, right? Walk away, bro. Walk away and be mad, I guess, right? Just walk away and be mad. And then come back after you had a few breaths, after you calm down, after you thought about it. And what they're teaching us is when you do that, you're tapping into your higher self. You're tapping into to your higher consciousness. And now you're allowing them to make the decision with you. You understand? Because you're not reacting out of, immediately out of anger. You actually brought the problem to your higher self. You said, yo, bro, they got me mad, bro. Your bro, they got me really mad, bro. I feel like fucking them up, bro. But the consciousness is going to tell you, chill out. Chill out, bro. You wildin', right? And they're going to break it down to you. And then, you could speak from a place of love as opposed to, I'm going to go beat his ass. Nah, you know what? There's no need for none of that. I love you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And you already transmuted the energy. You transmuted it from anger to love. Once you can say, I love you after being mad, bro, you just transmuted the energy. You should pat yourself on the back. You should celebrate because that's not easy to do. But even if you could do it, bro, acknowledge that you did it. Holy fuck, I did it. Wow. And go be happy about it, bro. It's okay to be happy. Hell yeah, bro. And then try again and keep trying, bro. I do that, bro. I celebrate little things, small little victories, bro. I be like, hell yeah, bro. Fuck yeah, bro. I'll be happy as shit, bro. You understand? I know it's nothing major, but it's one step. It's a step up because normally I wouldn't have did that. Normally I would have did this, right? And the fact that I haven't done this says a lot. It says a lot, bro. You understand? So I pat myself on the back every day, bro. Every single day, bro. But when I don't react, I feel like a bitch. That's the part, that's the part you gotta overcome, bro. It's like being taken advantage of. All right, but you gotta think, you gotta try that. Look, that's the mind speaking supervillain. I'm gonna take that because we grew up in the same world. Now we might have not grew up in the same situation. We might not have grew up in the same generation. But at the end of the day, we both have the same emotions. We both feel anger. And I do understand what you mean when you say somebody pisses you off, and if you don't react, you feel like a bitch because you feel like you're supposed to defend yourself. You understand? And that's what my problem is. It's because I like to defend myself, bro. And no matter what, I will defend myself. But I just have to learn how to do it a different way, bro. I have to learn how to take the anger when I feel it. And instead of reacting, just going, holy shit, I'm mad, right? And become an observer because evolution is becoming the observer. You got to become source. You got to become source. So with that said, if you could somehow become the observer, you won't feel like a bitch anymore because you're becoming source. You're elevating above the situation so that you can see how you're going to resolve it, how you're going to react to it, how you're going to fix it, because or how you want to deal with it. Because at the end of the day, this is what you're supposed to do. When you do that, you're raising your frequency, bro. So what would you rather do? Would you rather raise your frequency or would you rather feel like a bitch? You understand? I'd rather raise my frequency, bro. Because, feeling like a bitch, who are you trying to prove something to, bro? The person you need to prove something to is God, bro. And if you're trying to impress anybody, impress him. Impress him, bro. That's the one you want to impress. So with that said, take those few minutes. Walk away when you get mad. If somebody disrespects you, walk away, bro. Walk away. Don't hit them. Don't beat them up. Don't even raise your voice, bro. Just walk away. Take a couple of breaths. Breathe. Become one. Tell God they pissed me the fuck off. Tell your higher self, yo, bro, they got me mad, bro. I'm about to fight, bro. Or I'm about to yell. Talk to him and see what he got to say. Let him calm you down. And see where it takes you, because this is what we're supposed to be doing. In the eyes of the Lord, this is what we're supposed to be doing, bro. You understand? It takes practice, not easy, but this is what we're supposed to be doing. I feel you. And people do this to us intentionally, bro. People press your buttons. People know it's gonna get him mad. People know the last time I did this to him, he yelled at me, so I'm gonna do it again because I like getting yelled at, right? Or they like feeding off your energy. They feeding off your energy, bro. And this is why they provoke you. This is why they get you mad, because they want you to react. They want that energy, bro. And the minute you start to raise your voice or you start to get in their face, you're giving them exactly what they want, bro. So with that said, God's looking at you like this. He's like, God damn, bro, you got to get control of yourself, bro. They feeding right now. They eating. You giving them buffet, bro. You giving them buffet, bro, for free. You should be charging them for that attention. Remember, your attention is currency, bro. You understand? You giving them that kind of currency, bro. You shouldn't give them that kind of currency, bro. They don't deserve it. You understand? That's how I feel. Right, but anyway, yo, I'm out of here, super villain. It's good to see you, bro. I'll be back soon. For everybody else, I love y'all, bro. God loves you. Universe loves you. I hope you guys got the information, man. I'm gonna see y'all soon, bro.